Chosen one. Something has just shifted in the unseen, and you were led here at the exact moment this warning was released over your life. This is not a coincidence, anointed one. This is a divine interruption, a sacred pause in your day where heaven leans in and calls your attention because something or someone has entered your path that requires discernment. You did not find this message, it found you. And right now there is a movement happening around your destiny. Doors are preparing to open, provision is aligning, and what was delayed is beginning to accelerate. But in the middle of this shift, there is also a warning. Not everything sent toward you is meant to stay with you. Not every connection carries your future. The Spirit is saying, as it is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, there is a time for every matter under heaven. And this is your time of awareness, your time of clarity, chosen one. There is a man, a presence and influence that requires your attention. This is not about fear. This is about protection. Because what heaven is preparing to release into your life cannot be trusted into the wrong hands. Stay with me, anointed one, because what is about to be revealed will show you exactly what to watch for. Chosen one. Something within you already knows this is serious. Not fear, not confusion, but a quiet alertness, like your spirit has been trying to get your attention before your mind could understand why. You have felt it in small moments, in conversations that didn't sit right, in energy that felt off, but you tried to ignore, in that subtle hesitation when you were about to trust someone too quickly. That was not overthinking. That was discernment. Anointed one, there is a reason this warning is coming now and not later, because you are not in an ordinary season anymore. You are standing at the edge of movement, the kind of movement that shifts your direction, your connections, and your access. What is about to open in your life carries weight. It carries purpose. And it carries provision that must be protected. And here is what many do not realize. Not every person who enters your life during a breakthrough is sent to build with you. Some are sent to observe. Some are sent to test, and some are sent to delay. You have seen this pattern before, haven't you? When things begin to improve, when clarity starts forming, when doors begin to move suddenly, someone appears, someone persuasive, someone familiar, someone who feels like an answer at first, but slowly becomes a question. That is the moment many miss. Chosen one, this is not about fear of people. This is about understanding timing. Because there are connections that come from alignment, and there are connections that come as interruption. And if you do not recognize the difference, you can delay what heaven has already released. There is a verse that speaks quietly into this moment. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Not just your emotions, your direction, your timing, your access. And right now your course is shifting. You have been through seasons where you trusted too easily, where you gave your energy, your ideas, your loyalty, and it was not honored the way it should have been. You questioned yourself after, wondered if you were too open, too kind, too willing to believe the best in people. But hear this clearly. Anointed one, your ability to trust was never your weakness. It was simply unguarded in the wrong season. And now that season is over. Because what is forming around your life now is not casual. It is precise. It has been prepared through everything you went through, every delay, every disappointment, every closed door that made no sense at the time. You were not being blocked. You were being positioned. And when positioning begins to complete, protection increases. That is why you feel this shift. That is why your spirit is more alert than before. That is why things that once felt normal now feel questionable. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming discerning. And there is one connection in particular, one man, one presence that requires your attention. This is not about accusation. This is about awareness. Because not every smile carries loyalty. Not every word carries truth. And not every opportunity carries your future. Pay attention to how you feel when you are around him. Not what he says, but what it does to your peace. Does your clarity increase, or does your mind become clouded? Do you feel grounded or slightly unsettled in a way you cannot explain? That quiet discomfort, that hesitation you tried to dismiss, that is where the truth begins. Because discernment rarely shouts. It whispers. And here is what makes this moment critical. You are closer than you think. Closer to a shift that will change your direction in ways you cannot reverse casually. Closer to doors that once open will not open the same way again. Closer to a level of responsibility that requires clarity in who stands near you. This is why the warning comes before the breakthrough, not after. Because once movement begins, decisions accelerate. And what you tolerate in people now will affect what you experience later. So stay with me, Anointed One, because what is being revealed next will show you exactly how to recognize what is aligned and what is not. There is something you must understand at a deeper level. Chosen One, because this moment is not just about identifying a person, it is about recognizing a pattern that has tried to follow you across different seasons of your life. What looks like a single situation is often a repeated design, and what feels like a coincidence is often a familiar strategy that has changed its appearance, but not its intention. You have encountered this before, just in different forms. The faces changed, the voices sounded different, but the effect was the same. You felt pulled off your center, distracted from your focus, slightly delayed from something important you were building. At the time, you may not have had the clarity to name it, but now you are being given that clarity because you are no longer in the same place you used to be. Anointed One, growth changes what you can tolerate. What once felt acceptable now feels heavy. What once seemed normal now feels misaligned. This is not because life became more complicated. It is because your spirit has matured into a higher level of awareness. You are not reacting the same way anymore because you are not the same person anymore. And this is where the tension begins to reveal itself. When you start to rise into alignment, anything that does not belong in your next season will begin to feel uncomfortable. Not always obvious, not always dramatic, but noticeable enough that you cannot ignore it if you are paying attention. It shows up in small things first. Subtle inconsistencies. Words that do not match actions. Energy that shifts depending on what you share or withhold. You may have noticed moments where you felt the need to explain yourself more than usual around this person. Moments where your confidence slightly lowered after an interaction. Moments where something you were once clear about suddenly felt confusing after a conversation. These are not random emotional fluctuations. These are signals, because the wrong connection does not always come with obvious negativity. Sometimes it comes wrapped in familiarity, in charm, in agreement. Sometimes it even feels supportive at first. But over time, it introduces confusion, hesitation, and quiet delay. Not enough to alarm you immediately, but enough to slowly shift your direction if left unchecked. That is how delay works. It rarely stops you all at once. It redirects you slightly, just enough that over time you find yourself further from where you were meant to be. And this is why timing matters so much right now. You are not in a place where small delays remain small. You are at a point where even minor misalignments can create significant consequences because of how close you are to movement. The closer you get to breakthrough, the more precise your alignment must become. There is a reason why in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 it says that everything is made beautiful in its time. Not before, not after, but in its exact time. And alignment with that timing requires discernment in who you allow to walk closely with you. You are stepping into a space where your decisions will begin to produce faster results. What you choose, who you trust, where you invest your attention, all of it will begin to carry more weight than before. This is not meant to create pressure, it is meant to awaken awareness. Because when you understand the weight of a moment, you move differently within it. Think about the times in your life when something felt right, but later you realized you overlooked something small that turned out to be important. Maybe it was a business decision, a friendship, a relationship, or even advice you followed too quickly. At the time it seemed harmless, but later you saw the cost of not paying attention to that initial feeling. This is not that same moment. This is your opportunity to respond differently. You're not being asked to withdraw from people or to isolate yourself. You're being called to observe more carefully, to listen beyond words, to pay attention to what remains consistent and what changes depending on circumstances. Because consistency reveals truth over time. And here is something many do not say openly. Not everyone who is present in your life is equally invested in your elevation. Some are comfortable with you as long as you remain within a certain level. As long as you do not outgrow what they understand, what they can relate to, or what they feel secure around. But when you begin to move beyond that level, when your thinking expands, when your opportunities increase, when your clarity sharpens, not everyone adjusts with you. Some begin to shift in subtle ways, not always intentionally, but noticeably. And this is where discernment becomes protection, because elevation requires different alignment than survival. The people who were present during your struggle are not always the same people who can walk with you into your next level of responsibility. Not because they are bad, but because they are not aligned with where you are going. And then there are those who are not simply misaligned, but positioned in a way that creates interference. Not always obvious, not always aggressive, but present enough to create confusion if you are not aware. This is why your spirit has been alert. This is why you feel the need to pause before fully trusting. This is why something inside you has been saying, take a closer look. Because you are not just protecting your emotions right now, you are protecting your direction. And what is coming next will make it even clearer why this specific connection matters more than you first realized. What makes this moment even more significant? Chosen one is not just who this person is, but what is currently being released over your life. Because you are not simply navigating relationships right now, you are standing in the middle of a transition that carries weight, opportunity, and responsibility. And whenever something valuable is about to be placed into your hands, access becomes sensitive. You have entered a season where what you carry is no longer small. Your ideas are sharper. Your direction is clearer. Your potential is no longer hidden in the same way it used to be. Even if you have not fully stepped into it yet, something has already shifted internally. You see things differently. You respond differently. You are no longer easily pulled into what used to distract you. And this is exactly why not every presence around you is neutral. Some connections are aligned with where you are going, and they will strengthen you, sharpen you, and help you move forward with clarity. But others, even if they appear harmless, can interfere with your timing simply by pulling your attention in the wrong direction. Anointed. One, attention is one of the most valuable things you have right now. Where you place it determines what grows, and not everyone deserves access to that level of focus, especially in a season where your next steps are being formed. You may have noticed that this particular man has a way of drawing your attention in subtle ways, not always obvious, not always negative, but enough to create a shift in your focus. Conversations that linger longer than they should. Topics that pull you away from what you were originally working on. Moments where your energy feels slightly drained afterward, even if nothing outwardly wrong was said. This is how interference often works. It does not always come as direct opposition. Sometimes it comes as distraction. And distraction, when it happens at the wrong time, can be just as costly as opposition, because it delays movement without making it obvious that anything is wrong. You continue moving, but not in the direction you were meant to. There is a reason why even in Luke chapter 10 verse 42 it is said that one thing is needed, and choosing that one thing matters. Focus is not just about productivity, it is about alignment. Right now, your alignment matters more than ever, because what is forming around your life requires clarity, not confusion. It requires direction, not hesitation. It requires you to be present in what you are building, not divided between what is essential and what is unnecessary. And this is where you must become honest with yourself. Not about the person, but about the effect. How does this connection influence your thinking? Does it bring you closer to what you know you are called to do, or does it slowly pull you away from it? Does it strengthen your clarity, or does it introduce doubt in subtle ways? These are the questions that reveal truth. Because the most important thing right now is not what someone intends, but what actually happens as a result of their presence in your life. Intent can be unclear, but impact is always visible if you are willing to observe it. You are being asked to evaluate not just words, but patterns. Not just moments, but consistency. Not just what is said, but what is sustained over time. And here is where many people hesitate. They wait for something obvious before they make a decision. They wait for clear evidence, for something undeniable for a moment that forces action. But by the time that happens, the delay has already taken place. You are not in a season where you can afford to wait for obvious signs. You are in a season where subtle awareness is enough, where a shift in peace is enough, where a change in clarity is enough, because you are not operating from the same level you used to be. You are no longer being led by reaction, you are being led by discernment. And discernment does not require proof the way logic does. It requires attention, it requires stillness, it requires you to trust what you are sensing even when it is not fully visible yet. This is why your spirit has been prompting you to slow down in how much you share, how quickly you trust, how deeply you involve this person in what you are building. Not to create distance out of fear, but to create space for clarity. Because clarity reveals alignment, and alignment determines access. You are not meant to give full access to someone who has not proven alignment with your direction. Not because you are guarding against harm, but because you are protecting what has been entrusted to you. There is something forming that requires a different level of awareness than what you have operated in before, and this moment is your invitation to step into that awareness fully. What you choose now will not just affect this connection, it will affect the pace and direction of what is about to unfold in your life. And what is about to unfold is closer than you think. What you are sensing right now. Chosen One is not just about awareness. It is about resistance beginning to reveal itself in a quieter form. Not loud, not obvious, but present enough that if you ignore it, it will grow. And this is where many people misinterpret what is happening. They think resistance only shows up as clear opposition, but often it appears as subtle misalignment that slowly pulls you away from precision. You have already begun to notice that not everything flows the same when this person is involved. There is a slight disruption in your rhythm, a delay in your decision-making, a hesitation that was not there before. These are not random disruptions. They are indicators that something is not fully aligned with where you are going. Anointed One. When you are moving in alignment, things may still require effort, but they do not create confusion. There is a difference between challenge and interference. Challenge strengthens you. Interference distracts you. And what you are dealing with now is not meant to strengthen you. It is testing your ability to stay aligned. This is where your growth becomes visible, not in how much you endure, but in what you choose to allow. Because maturity in this season is not about pushing through everything, it is about recognizing what is not meant to be carried forward with you. You may feel a sense of internal conflict right now. Part of you wants to give the benefit of the doubt. Part of you wants to believe that everything is fine, that you're just being cautious. But another part of you, deeper and quieter, is asking you to pay attention. That deeper voice is not trying to create distance for no reason. It is trying to preserve clarity. There have been moments where you felt like you needed to second-guess your own instincts. Moments where you thought, maybe I am overthinking this, maybe I am reading too much into it. But each time you dismissed that feeling, it returned again. Not louder, but more persistent. That persistence is not anxiety. It is discernment, asking to be acknowledged. Because when something is aligned, it does not require you to constantly question your own sense of peace. It does not leave you feeling slightly unsettled after interactions. It does not create a pattern where you feel clear before the connection and uncertain after it. Pay attention to that pattern. It tells you more than words ever will. There is also something else happening beneath the surface that you must understand. As you move closer to what has been prepared for you, not everything that was once neutral will remain neutral. Some things will begin to reveal their true nature simply because your level has changed. You're not attracting the same type of interactions anymore because you are not carrying the same energy anymore. And when your energy shifts, it exposes what is compatible and what is not. This is why what once felt normal now feels questionable. You are not imagining it, you're seeing it more clearly than before. There is a refining taking place in your life right now, not just in your environment, but in your connections. What remains must be able to withstand where you're going, not just where you have been. And here is the part that requires courage. Not every realization comes with immediate clarity on what to do next. Sometimes it comes with a quiet knowing that something needs to change, even if you have not fully defined what that change looks like yet. You do not need to rush a decision, but you do need to stop ignoring what you already feel. Because the longer you stay in a place of partial awareness without action, the more it affects your momentum. Not dramatically, but gradually, and gradual delay is often the most difficult to recognize until time has already passed. You are being invited into a higher level of responsibility right now, not responsibility over others, but responsibility over your own alignment. Over what you allow near your focus, over what you give your attention to, over who has access to your direction. This is not about cutting people off impulsively. It is about adjusting your boundaries with intention. It is about recognizing that access is not automatic. It is earned through consistency and alignment. And this specific situation is your opportunity to apply that understanding in real time. Because what is ahead of you will not wait for you to become ready. It will respond to the decisions you make now. You are not being asked to operate from fear. You are being called to operate from clarity. And clarity, once recognized, requires response. There is something about this connection that you are meant to see now, before it becomes more involved, before it becomes more difficult to adjust, before it carries more influence over your decisions. That is why this moment matters. And what is about to be revealed next will help you see not just what to notice, but how to respond without losing your balance. The way you respond now. Chosen One will define more than just this connection. It will set the standard for how you move in this new level of your life. Because discernment is not complete until it becomes action. Awareness without response leaves the door partially open, and partial openness is where confusion continues to grow. You are not being asked to react emotionally. You are being guided to respond with clarity and composure. There is a difference. Reaction is driven by impulse. Response is led by understanding. And right now, understanding is what is being formed inside you. You may not need to confront anything directly. You may not need to explain yourself or justify your shift. Sometimes the most powerful response is a quiet adjustment, a shift in how much access is given, a shift in how much is shared, a shift in how much influence is allowed. Because not every boundary needs to be announced. Some boundaries are simply lived. You can begin to notice how your energy changes when you stop overextending, when you stop explaining every decision, when you stop making space for conversations that do not add to your clarity. These small adjustments begin to restore your focus without creating unnecessary tension. And this is important because your goal is not conflict. Your goal is alignment. There will be a moment where you feel the difference, where your thoughts become clearer again, where your direction feels steady, where that subtle pressure you were carrying begins to lift. That is how you will know you are moving correctly. Not because everything is perfect, but because your internal state is no longer being disrupted. Anointed One. Peace is one of the clearest indicators of alignment. Not temporary comfort, but steady peace that remains even when you're making decisions that require change. You may feel a brief discomfort as you adjust. That is natural. Anytime you shift patterns, there is a moment of unfamiliarity, but that discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are doing something different. And different is necessary in this season, because what you are stepping into cannot be sustained with old patterns. It cannot be protected with old boundaries. It cannot grow if it is constantly being exposed to misalignment. You are being prepared not just to receive what is coming, but to maintain it. And maintenance requires structure. It requires awareness. It requires discipline in what you allow and what you release. There is also something deeper happening beneath your external decisions. As you begin to choose alignment more consistently, your confidence will begin to stabilize in a new way. Not based on how others respond to you, but based on your own clarity. You will no longer need reassurance in the same way. You will no longer second-guess yourself as often, because each aligned decision reinforces your ability to trust your own discernment. This is how growth becomes anchored, not through one major moment, but through consistent, smaller decisions that reflect a higher level of awareness. And this is where you begin to step fully into your next level. Not because everything around you changes instantly, but because you are no longer engaging with everything in the same way. There is a shift happening in how you relate to people, to opportunities, to your own time and energy. What once felt urgent now feels optional. What once felt necessary now feels unnecessary. This is refinement. And refinement always comes before expansion, because expansion without refinement creates instability, but expansion with refinement creates sustainability. You are not just moving forward, you are becoming more precise. And precision is what protects momentum. There will be a moment very soon where you look back at this exact situation and realize how important this awareness was. Not because something dramatic happened, but because you avoided something that would have delayed you. Avoidance, in this context, is not loss, it is protection. You are not losing a connection, you are preserving your direction. And direction is what determines outcome. So do not rush, do not force anything. Simply continue to observe, adjust, and align. Let your actions reflect what you already understand internally, because what is unfolding next will require you to be fully present, fully clear, and fully aligned with where you are going. And what is about to open will make it clear why this level of discernment was necessary. Now you are beginning to see why this moment had to come before what is about to unfold, chosen one. Because alignment is not only about what you move toward, it is also about what you choose not to carry with you. And what you release now creates space for what is already trying to reach you. There are things already set in motion that do not require your effort, only your readiness. Opportunities that are forming without your awareness, conversations that are aligning behind the scenes, doors that are preparing to open at the right time, not because you forced them, but because you stayed aligned long enough for them to meet you. But here is what must be understood clearly. What is coming into your life next will not require you to chase it, but it will require you to recognize it. And recognition depends on clarity. If your focus is divided, if your attention is pulled in too many directions, if your energy is entangled in connections that are not aligned, you may not miss the opportunity entirely, but you will delay your ability to respond to it at the right time. And timing in this season matters more than effort. You have spent enough time in seasons where things moved slowly, where progress felt distant, where answers took longer than expected. This is not that same season. Things are beginning to move differently now. Faster, more directly, more precisely. And when movement accelerates, clarity must increase with it. This is why the adjustment you are making now is not small. It is foundational. It is preparing you to handle what is about to arrive without confusion, without hesitation, without second-guessing the direction you are meant to take. You may begin to notice small confirmations after you make this shift. Subtle changes in how things flow, a sense of ease returning to your decisions. A feeling that your thoughts are no longer being interrupted in the same way. These are not coincidences. These are signs of realignment. And as that alignment stabilizes, something else begins to happen. What belongs to you starts to move toward you more clearly, without force, without pressure, without the need to convince or chase. This is where many people misunderstand the process. They believe that progress always requires more effort, more pushing, more involvement. But there comes a point where progress is no longer about doing more, but about allowing what is already aligned to come into place. You are stepping into that point now, and this is why it is so important that your environment reflects your direction. That the people around you do not pull you back into old patterns of thinking, old patterns of reacting, old patterns of uncertainty, because what is coming requires you to stay steady, not fluctuating. There is also a shift happening in how you perceive value. What once felt valuable may no longer hold the same weight. Conversations that once felt engaging may now feel unnecessary. Situations that once felt important may now feel like distractions. This is not detachment for no reason. This is refinement of focus. You are beginning to prioritize differently, not because you are becoming distant, but because you are becoming intentional. And intention is what allows you to move with precision instead of impulse. There is a level of provision connected to where you are going that requires stewardship. Not just financial, but mental, emotional, and spiritual stewardship. How you manage your attention, how you manage your time, how you manage who has access to your thinking and your direction. Because provision without stewardship leads to loss, but provision with stewardship leads to multiplication. This is why this season is shaping you the way it is. Not to test you, but to prepare you. You are not being held back. You are being refined so that when what is meant for you arrives, you are able to recognize it, receive it, and sustain it without confusion. And there is something very important about to become visible to you. Something that will confirm that this entire adjustment was necessary. It may come in a form you do not expect. A sudden opportunity, a conversation that opens a new direction, a moment of clarity that changes how you see your next step. But when it happens, you will notice something different. There will be no internal resistance, no hesitation that comes from confusion, only a clear sense of recognition. That is how you will know it is aligned. Because what is aligned does not need to convince you. It resonates with what you already know. You are closer than you realize to that moment, closer than you have been in a long time. And what is about to come into view will not just move your life forward. It will confirm that every adjustment you made was leading you exactly where you needed to be. This is the moment where everything begins to settle into place. Chosen one, not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect, but because something within you has become clear. And when clarity becomes steady, your movement changes. You no longer move from pressure, from urgency, or from the need to figure everything out at once. You move from alignment. You can feel it now in a different way than before. That quiet steadiness returning. That sense that you are no longer being pulled in multiple directions. That awareness that you do not need to chase what is meant for you, nor hold on to what does not belong. This is not something external giving you permission. This is something internal confirming that you are ready to move differently. Anointed One. The warning you received was never meant to create fear. It was meant to restore your position, to bring you back into full alignment before the next door opened, because what is ahead of you requires a version of you that is clear, not conflicted, focused, not divided, grounded, not easily influenced, and now you are standing in that place. You are no longer trying to force understanding. You are no longer trying to make something fit that does not feel right. You are no longer ignoring what you already know internally. That alone has shifted your trajectory more than you realize. Because direction is not only determined by what you pursue, but by what you refuse to carry forward. There is a sense of closure happening here, even if nothing dramatic has been said or done. A quiet closing, a natural distancing, not out of rejection, but out of recognition. You are simply no longer available for what disrupts your clarity. And that decision does not need explanation. It only needs consistency. You will begin to notice how this decision changes your environment, how your focus becomes sharper, how your time feels more structured, how your energy is no longer drained in the same way. These are not small changes. These are foundational shifts that prepare you for what is about to unfold. And what is unfolding is not something distant. It is already in motion. You may begin to see signs of it in ways that feel simple at first. A new idea that feels more complete than anything you have had before. A conversation that opens a direction you had not considered. an opportunity that feels aligned without requiring you to question it repeatedly. These moments will not feel forced, they will feel natural. That is how you will know you are moving in the right direction, not because everything is easy, but because everything is clear. There is also a deeper sense of confidence forming within you now, not loud, not exaggerated, but stable. You are no longer looking for external validation in the same way. You are no longer dependent on others to confirm what you already feel internally. This is the beginning of a different level of self-trust. And self-trust, when built through discernment, becomes one of the strongest forms of protection you can carry, because it allows you to recognize alignment quickly and disengage from misalignment without hesitation. You are stepping into a season where your decisions will begin to produce visible results more quickly. What you align with will move forward. What you disconnect from will fall away. This is not something you need to control. It is something you will begin to witness. That is why this moment mattered. That is why the warning came before the movement. That is why you were asked to pay attention before anything became complicated, because now you move forward without confusion attached to you. And there is one more thing you need to understand as you step into this next phase. Not everyone will understand the changes you are making. Not everyone will recognize why you have become more selective, more focused, more intentional. But understanding from others is not required for alignment within yourself. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be aligned with what has been assigned to you. As it says in Isaiah chapter 60 verse 1, "Arise and shine, for your light has come." That light is not just opportunity, it is clarity, it is awareness. It is the ability to see what belongs and what does not before it fully unfolds. And you have stepped into that light now, so move forward with that clarity. Stay grounded in what you have recognized. Continue to protect your focus without over-explaining your decisions. Let your alignment guide your actions, not your emotions. Because what is ahead of you is not just another step. It is a transition into a level where your discernment, your clarity, and your alignment will determine how far and how fast you move. And now, chosen one, you are no longer moving blindly. You are moving with awareness. Chosen one, remain still for just a moment and receive this. What has been revealed to you was not just insight, it was protection. What has shifted within you is not temporary, it is alignment. You are standing in a kairos moment, a divinely appointed time, where what was hidden is now being made clear, and what was delayed is beginning to move into place. Even now, things are adjusting around you, doors are aligning, paths are clearing, and what is meant for you is drawing closer without struggle. Anointed one, walk forward with peace, not pressure. You do not need to force what heaven has already prepared. Stay attentive, stay grounded, stay aligned with what you now know. Because discernment has positioned you and obedience will carry you forward. Let gratitude fill your spirit, because something has already shifted in your favor. What once confused you will no longer have power over your direction. What once delayed you will no longer have access to your path. If this message has confirmed something deep within you, write Amen in the comments as your declaration of alignment. Let it be your quiet agreement with what heaven has already set in motion. And if you feel led, stay connected here so you do not miss what is meant to find you next. Go forward now, chosen. One with clarity, with protection, and with quiet confidence. Your next chapter has already begun.